Hey everybody, Neil Malik with Knack Training here, bringing another everyday office video. And in today's video, what we're going to use is a function together with conditional formatting to solve a problem that's been coming up with some of my clients recently. So the problem that my clients have been coming to me with is they'll often build out a very interesting, complicated spreadsheet that has a lot of different elements in it. And if somebody goes in and they mess up those elements, if they modify something they weren't supposed to modify, a lot of things will sort of break down with that. In this example here, you can see I've built a little sheet where we have all of our different regions. We have over here on the right a calculation for each of the different rows, telling us how much we've got in terms of sales for that particular row. Down here, we've got a calculation of the totals for the entire column. And unfortunately, we have some people who would go into the total cell for the Q2 and just handwrite in what the total sales were for Q2. And that's an awful situation to be in. In the same way down here, notice I've made myself a little table. I can use this drop-down menu here and say, oh, show me the top 3 regions for Q1 of 2017, and it calculates and it charts that information. Again, I don't want somebody to accidentally come in here and mess around with this information. So there are many different solutions to this problem. I'm just going to show you a way to handle this with conditional formatting that can be really helpful. I'll start off with this. I'm going to highlight all the cells that I've worked with so far, just sort of, a decent number of cells here. And I'm going to go to the conditional formatting button on the Home tab at the top of the screen. And what I'm looking for is to be able to tell people that there are certain cells they should not modify. And those cells, very specifically, are the ones that have functions in them. So rather than going into highlight cell rules or top and bottom rules, data bars, those sorts of things, I'm going to go to my new rule option and create a new rule based on a formula. Now notice here that when I selected from B2 across and down to O30, that B2 is the cell that is currently active. That's the important cell in question. And what we're going to use is what's called ISFORMULA, =ISFORMULA, ISFORMULA. The ISFORMULA function simply asks the question, is what's in this cell a formula? Is it a function? So I'll come in here, I'll select cell B2 as my starting point. And what I'd like is for the same exact functionality to be applied to cell B2, B3, B4, B5, C2, C3, C4, C5, all the way down, all the way across. So I'm going to tap the F4 keyboard shortcut until it says simply B2. That's because B2 is a relative reference. It says, I don't care where you're going, just go ahead and apply it to that cell. So it's B2, but then later it'll be C19, and then after that it'll be J22. It doesn't really matter. And then close the parentheses. And it'll simply say, okay, if regions is a formula, then that'll be true, and I want to color code that. So I'll come down here to Format, and let's figure out what we want to have happen when something is a formula. Let's say it needs to be bolded, and it needs to be filled in with maybe a gray color, and then I'll click OK, and then I'll click OK. And just like that, you see that? Every single cell in this spreadsheet that is being calculated now has gray and bold applied to it. And we can come over here and put a little message box that says, please do not change anything that's gray, because all the cells that are gray are conditionally formatted to tell us that something is a formula. And not only that, but now when I get this spreadsheet back from somebody, and I look through here and I see that somebody's come in here to Q3 of 2018 and written in that we have $52 million worth of sales. You see how instantly that $52 million that goes in there is not bold, is not gray? It instantly brings my eye to this point right here and says there's something wrong. So you can decide on any kind of conditional formatting based off that ISFORMULA function, but it allows us to very quickly and easily highlight those things that people should keep their hands off of and pinpoint the places where calculations should be in the event that somebody takes them out.